You don't attract what you think about. You attract what you agree to be. So welcome back to part 2. Let's get into it. Well, hey there. Welcome back to another video. Here we all are, once again. Thank you for being here. Your body is what is the most important when it comes to changing yourself and changing your manifestations. And what I mean by that is that it's gonna come through resonating in your body first, because your mind takes a while to convince it of new belief systems. But once you can feel it in your nervous system and impress it upon your subconscious so strongly that your nervous system is now becoming a part of it and it's actually in your body, that's when your life is going to start to change, because you have to make your manifestations, you have to make the things that you want to be and become, you have to make the new belief systems that you want to embody and utilize resonant within your body, and you have to normalize it within your body. So in other words, it just has to become normal in your body, how it feels to be the version of you that you've always wanted to be, how it feels to not give a shit what anybody thinks about you, how it feels to radically embody the master that we all are, because we can all let in the master. We can all decide right now in this very moment to shine our light, to be our best selves. But we often let our belief systems hold us back from that. We often let the ego slow us down and keep us safe and keep us in our box that has felt safe for so much of our life. Because when you decide to finally be in a different vibration, that is when everything's going to change. When you decide to actually be the vibration of that which you desire yourself to be the vibration of the person that has everything that you want in your life and expresses itself authentically, not giving a damn what other people think about them. When you actually finally allow that to be who you are, that is when the outside world will start reflecting it to you. The outside world, because nothing is really outside of us. We are consciousness, and consciousness is everything, and consciousness is God. So the key here is to normalize being conscious, because there's multiple sides of consciousness. You have the male side, which is the conscious side, and you have the female side, which is the subconscious. This is how manifestations are created. Just like when we're giving birth to a child, the male impregnates the female, right? So the conscious mind has to impregnate the subconscious mind with what it prefers to be, with what it prefers to actually outpicture itself as in the world, how it decides to represent itself to the world, how you want the manifestations to come to you. You have to literally, with your conscious mind, impress the subconscious mind, impregnate it with the thoughts and belief systems that you prefer. And you have to know it so deeply inside of you that there's no shadow of a doubt that it's real. You have to know that there is a version of you, that there is a version of Earth, a version of reality in a different universe, however you want to look at it, that is living the life that you want to live right now, that is the literal embodiment of everything that you've ever wanted and everything that you've ever wanted to be and express out into the world. That exists right now. And so the more that you can impress with your conscious mind and impregnate the subconscious mind with that who you deserve to be, that which you came here to be, that which you were born to be, it will, in a matter of time, be outpictured in your life. And I've said this in multiple live streams. If you guys haven't been following along, make sure you check those out every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We've been reading through a lot of Neville Goddard stuff. And if you guys are familiar with Neville Goddard, then maybe you're going to pick up on some of the things that I'm saying. But for a human baby, to manifest, that takes 9 months. For a horse, it takes 12 months. For a lamb, it takes like 5 or 6 months. For an elephant, it takes almost 2 years. So everybody's gestation period between who they become and decide to resonate at, and seeing and hearing and smelling and tasting and touching it in the manifested world, that timing and the time frame that it takes for each individual person is different for everybody. So that's why we can't get caught in the comparison league, because if we do, then we're just going to add resistance to it. We're going to be wondering why ours isn't coming as fast as this person's did. We can't do that. We have to live in our vibration. So this is the most important part right here, is being unconditional. We have to be unconditional, which means that we don't care and we don't need it to manifest in order for us to become it. We don't need to manifest what we want in order for us to be allowed to feel like we have already manifested it. Because if we wait for the outside to change, then the outside will never change. If we wait for it to change in order for us to feel better, the outside will never change. If we wait for the outside to change for us to fully embody who we deserve to be and who we want to be and who we want to express ourselves as, then we will never change and the outside will never change. You've heard it so many times, I'll believe it when I see it, right? I'll believe it when I see it. Well, you have to flip that around and say, I'll see it when I believe it, because you're not gonna see it until you actually believe it. That's the thing that we have been caught up in. It's crazy, it's so backwards, and it was so simple to just switch those words around for people to repress and put us down and make us feel disempowered to how we can actually live our lives. You have to believe it, and then you'll see it. Your only job is to convince your mind, to convince your body and your nervous system that it already exists, because it does. Because there is no past, there is no future, there's only now. So that means that every version of you that you want to be, or that you could possibly be, exists right now simultaneously with the version of you that you're existing as right now. So all you gotta do is realize that and accept the fact that everything you want to be and everything that you want to have already exists right now, and just celebrate that that already happens and act as if that is true, because it is. And once you can convince yourself enough that it is true, that is when your life is going to start to change. That means you're being unconditional. That means you're being unconditional. You don't need the outside to change in order for you to change. You don't need the outside to change. You don't need conditions. You don't need things. You don't need accolades and approval from others in order to allow you to change, to be the version of you that you've always wanted to be. You don't have to wait, because if you wait, you'll wait your entire life, because the outside will not change. It's going to continue to reciprocate and perpetuate itself in very, very similar ways to the way it always has. And you'll always just be wondering, well, why isn't my life changing? Why is my life changing? Nothing ever changes. This is just how it is. This is the way life is. And then you accept that that's the truth, and that will be what is outpictured, because that is what you are impressing your subconscious mind with, the belief system of. And the subconscious is the respecter of no man, which means that it does not care. It is unconditional. If you're going to do and have belief systems that are negative, that you don't prefer, it doesn't care. It's going to outpicture it. But if you want positive ones that are going to outpicture something else, a life that you truly deserve, then it's going to outpicture that as well. But you just have to convince yourself that that is actually possible. Because the law of assumption, the laws of the universe work the exact same. They're unconditional. They don't care. They are laws. So it's going to work the exact same way that you've manifested things in your life that you don't prefer, that you don't like. It's going to work the exact way in order to outpicture the circumstances and the versions of you that you do prefer. So you're doing it all the time, whether you know it or not. And so my purpose in sharing this video with all of you guys is to awaken you to that fact that that is how it works. And that once you do decide to change yourself, not relying on the outside to change for you to change yourself, you will see your life change in the way that you prefer, in the way that you deserve. So don't wait around. Stop waiting around. It's not worth it. You don't need to wait anymore. It is time to embody the master. It is time to embody the version of yourselves that you truly deserve to be. Okay, buddy, old pal. Your ego is gonna freak the fuck out when you start changing. It is gonna start freaking out, saying that you're going into a danger zone. You're going into the danger zone. You're not. The danger zone. You're not. You're not going into the danger zone. This is why. The ego loves familiarity. It loves it. It can't live without it, it feels like. And so it's gonna try so hard to keep you down. It's gonna try so hard and so lovingly to keep you in the place that you feel like you've been kind of comfortable, but you've also been miserable. You're getting comfortable in your own misery because you feel like changing yourself is more intimidating, more scary, more risky than continuing to be the version of you that is pushed down, that is in a box, that does not represent itself authentically into the world. That's what the ego is going to convince you of. And it's not a malicious thing. We can't keep demonizing the ego. And I've said this before, you can't demonize the ego. It's doing it with good intentions. The ego helps us a lot. It helps keep us grounded. It helps keep our belief systems in place. We have to keep thinking thoughts over and over again that eventually create enough feeling and momentum within us that it impresses our nervous system and impresses the subconscious, and our belief systems therefore become strong enough to convince the ego that this new belief system that we are wanting to stretch ourselves to be, because it's who we really are, actually is the safest and best bet. And then the ego will recognize that once you actually start to adopt and adapt those new habits, those new embodiments that you are, your ego will start to recognize that as like, okay, this is the safety. This is the new safety net. This is the new place where Joe Schmo, this is the new place where you, whoever you are, wants to be at and feels the best to be at and feels the safest, because you're going to feel the safest at the end of the day being the version of you that you want to be. But there's going to be that period where it feels fucking terrifying to be it, because you're afraid of the opinions of others. You're afraid that you're going to waste time. You're afraid that you're going to get it wrong. You're afraid of a number of things that are all just false evidence appearing real, just like that phrase of fear is. It is absolutely true. They are all just illusions of your mind. They are belief systems that you have convinced yourself of that are real. So just take a deep breath, because that's why growth feels like danger. It's just because your ego has to get used to it for a little bit. Your nervous system has to understand that it's not a threat to be who you really want to be and have the things that you really deserve to have. All right? So just take it easy with that. The resistance you feel is the growth that you are seeking. The resistance that you feel at first is the growth that you are seeking. And also, the resistance is proof that you are changing. Oh, God. Sorry, it just gets me a little worked up. Resistance is proof that you're changing. We often get pissed off at ourselves and beat up on ourselves and say we're doing something wrong or we're too spiritual to feel a certain thing when the resistance comes up. And we see that as a bad thing. But the resistance is literally the proof that we are changing in the direction that we want, because now we are feeling that threat from the ego to keep us small, to keep us in the same place, because we're stretching past the boundaries that the ego has been so used to, that we ourselves have been so used to. So the fact that you are feeling resistance is reason to celebrate. It is truly a reason to celebrate. So don't freak out about it. When the resistance comes up within you, see that as progress. Let that be a moment where you can reflect and be present with it and understand that this is reflecting itself to me, giving me an opportunity to address something inside of me that needs to be addressed in order for me to really be the person that I deserve to be. And then just address it and choose to be a different person. Choose to replace that old belief system with a stronger and new belief system. And it has to be stronger. You have to create enough feeling behind the new belief system of who you really are and who you really want to be, that it overcomes and is way more powerful and has way more energy behind the negative belief system that you've been holding on to for a very, very long time, that feels safe to you, but is also making you completely miserable because you're comfortable in your own misery. Let all of that go. Recognize it that way. See it as an opportunity to change yourself. And when you do, and when you add enough momentum and enough energy behind those new belief systems that you really are the person already, unconditionally, that you deserve to be, that you want to be, without needing anything on the outside to change immediately, when you know that that is true, that is when everything in your life is going to change, my friends. I promise you. It's just the law of the universe. It's just physics. It's not woo-woo. It is literal physics. What you put out is what you get back. So take that with a grain of salt. Chew on that for a little bit. Again, all of this is just offerings and sharings. I'm not pushing this. I'm not saying that if you don't do this, you're a bad person, you're doing something wrong. Chew on this for a little bit. Let it digest. Let it sink in a little bit. And just give it a try. Give it a try for yourself, because you truly deserve it. This is the series of solidifying the fact that all we need to do is be it in our vibration. We don't have to earn it through our actions. We have to just be it in our vibration. And if we can be it in our vibration for real and not just fake it, and we actually be it and feel it, we're going to be so powerful. we're going to be unchanged. We're going to be unmoved by the chaos around us. We're going to be unmoved by the opinions of others. All right? So I love you so much. Subscribe to this channel. Hit that like button if you made it this far in the video. If this is adding any value to you, I'd appreciate it if you join this community that I am creating, this movement that I am creating with all of you, to create creators, to create people, to create a following, to create a movement where we're all being ourselves unconditionally, and where we don't judge each other, but we celebrate our differences. Because that's how life is supposed to be. We don't always have to agree, but we can choose to celebrate each other for our differences. So guys, I love you, damn it. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to better yourself, to choose to be a different version of yourself than you've ever been. Thank you for being brave and courageous to do that, because the world needs it. And go check out part 1 if you haven't checked that out yet. It's going to add a lot of value to you. It's going to make a lot more sense out of the video that I've just spoken about. We're going to be able to merge it all together and really solidify it in ourselves so that we can create enough momentum in our lives to actually embody these teachings, to embody these things that I'm sharing with you. So thank you so much. I love you so much, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.